Hey everyone, welcome. I am Eden with the Connection Effect, and today I am here with Catherine Robinson with Wildwood Aromas. And today she is going to talk about what she does in her practice and the services that she provides to the community. We're going to dive into a few of the things that she's learned. She's going to share with you. And I'm just going to ask her a couple questions to help clarify. So thank you for watching, and thank you, Catherine, for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So welcome. And I would love to know where Wildwood Aromas came from.
Oh, that was actually my daughter's doing.
Okay.
And if your viewers watched Altany Robinson, that's my daughter. She's an artist. And I'm not creative, not that clever. But I wanted something, because I do essential oils and I do forest Reiki. I wanted something that kind of combined the two.
Yeah.
And so I just said, Altany, help me.
Yeah.
And she spit out, well, blah, 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 blah. No. And then she said, well, how about Wildwood Aromas? And I said, oh, yeah.
That's
That's
awesome.
it.
I love it for sure. It makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Well, to me.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about what you do. So aromatherapy and a specific type of Reiki.
Yes. So on the aromatherapy side, I have a product line of things that I have created that help people with just various things. But then I also have where people come into my office and we sit down and I talk to them about what's going on specifically, emotional or physical, whatever that they're looking for assistance with. And then we pull out the oils and we kind of play around in them, and I create something just for them. You know, it's got to smell good to them. What smells good to you, I may not like, vice versa. So I create something that smells good for them, that they're going to want to use, and then I tell them how to use it.
Yeah.
So, and then I also do forest Reiki sessions. Forest Reiki is a type of energy work. If you're not familiar with Reiki, Reiki is a way of helping the body release stuck points. So when we get hurt physically or emotionally, it creates a stuck point in the body. Reiki assists the body to unstick itself. So forest Reiki is simply bringing the trees and the forest in. You can look up forest bathing, which was a study done in Japan where they measured people's body chemistry, their blood pressure, blood sugar, all these things, sent them out into the forest and for about an hour, and then brought them back and remeasured everything and had remarkable improvement across the board. So as the practitioner, I bring that element into the Reiki sessions. And then because I do aromatherapy, I bring essential oils in also.
Wow, that's incredible. And of course, I'm a self-proclaimed tree hugger. So
I know, really, you go out, you just feel better.
Yes, you do. And I'm such an advocate of being in nature anyway.
Yeah.
Even though personally I'm allergic to grass, but I just love being in nature. As many times as I can get out there, I definitely advocate for that. And it's good for mental health and your physical being and just overall well-being. Yeah. So I love that. And so whenever you bring the woods into the session, what does that look like?
That is simply a way that I come into the session. So I have like plants in my office and all that. Let me explain this. So when you walk into a room and there's someone in there who's grumpy, and before long the whole room is grumpy. They're radiating grumpiness. Everybody's grumpy. But you can also come into a room where there's somebody who's really bubbly and they're not necessarily even talking, but you can just feel that happiness radiating off of them, and it lifts your spirits. I kind of like think about being in nature and how good being in nature feels and how I feel when I'm out walking among the trees, and I kind of radiate that out.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
Yeah.
I love that. So you are kind of a conduit or the middle person, but you're also sharing that energy, that flow of energy from nature into your session to your client.
Yeah. And I also come at it as the viewpoint of a Christian.
Mhm.
So I'm also doing my best to radiate the love that we feel when we know we're in a holy presence.
Yeah,
You know,
that's so neat. Oh, that makes me feel good just talking about it. That's something that, as a life coach, I practice that nurturing and caring and guidance in a way that is genuine, but it's also an energy that I share.
Yeah, it is.
So
it is. You don't have to be doing Reiki or anything
Right.
like that to be radiating that out.
Yeah. But it's so cool that you get to focus that on someone. And
I
so,
love it.
yeah. So, maybe what does it look like when someone reaches out to you? What is maybe an example of something that they would like help with, or something that you specifically work on?
Oh, anything.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's a very broad question.
Okay.
There hasn't been anything I haven't been able to help with.
Mhm.
And I do have complete client confidentiality.
Mhm.
And also I don't want to say a disease name.
Right. Mhm.
We have to be careful with that.
Yes.
So, but emotional issues that you are struggling to cope with or release, assistance in that.
Mhm.
Transitions in your life, when you're going from one area, say one career to another,
Mhm.
it's happy and exciting, but it's also stressful. So
Yeah.
I can help with that. Physical issues that you may have seen a doctor for, and you would just like help. And you're not looking to get rid of your doctor. You're not
Mhm.
necessarily looking to get rid of your prescriptions.
Right.
You would just like a little something extra to boost it.
Mhm.
So from one pill to another, maybe there's a lag. So
Mhm.
you would like something to bridge that gap.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I know that you and I had spoken previously about some of the resources that you use, specifically the essential oils and the forest Reiki technique. But whenever you are bringing a new person into a session, maybe we could talk about that process. You mentioned sitting down with them and talking about the essential oils,
Right.
and maybe going through that. What does that look like?
Well, I have 3 different sessions.
Mhm.
So I have an aromatherapy consultation, which is you're going to come in and we're going to sit down. I'm actually going to take a medical history, and I need to know what prescriptions you take, because I don't want to give you something that's going to negate their effect. Right.
Mhm.
So then we talk about, what oils do you like? I pull them out. We smell a few. I ask you what form you want it to take. I can put it in a roller. I can put it in an inhaler, in a body butter, in bath salts, a salve, a balm. I mean, the list is practically endless.
Mhm.
How would you like to use that?
Mhm.
Do you want to smell like it, or do you just want to smell it?
Mhm.
And then you give me a couple of days, and I package it all up, and I bring it to you, and I tell you how to use it, how often, when, that.
Yeah.
The other one is an aromatherapy experience, where you come into my office and I have this wonderful comfy chair. I seat you down and give you a hot tea or cold water if you prefer. And then I put your feet in a foot bath without essential oils, but with some lovely salts and botanicals and things like that.
Mhm.
And you just sit there and relax and calm. I try to put your favorite music on, what you find relaxing. Please don't ask for death metal. I mean, that's really not relaxing. unless that works for you. I don't know. But then I do have a diffuser where I put essential oils in, and the essential oils that I use are also going to go by like what you want to smell, but also what are you looking for? Are you looking for immune support? Are you looking for stress relief? What are you looking to get out of the session? And, we'll talk about that before we start. And those last about 30 minutes or so. You get to sit and just relax and get some aromatherapy. A forest Reiki session, you come in, we talk about why you're there, what you're looking for, how best I can help you. And then you lay on my massage table, and you are completely clothed, so you don't have to undress. And then I just lightly touch you in various spots on your body. Other areas I just hover my hands above because it might be a little uncomfortable. And if you are particular, say you don't like your throat touch, then obviously I'm not going to touch your throat. And I just offer you help, assistance. I do pray while I'm giving you your whole entire session, and I work from your head to your feet. Sometimes I come back up and then go back down. But then sometimes things come to me, like questions that I feel like you need me to ask. Yeah, I don't necessarily want your answer, and I'm not going to go digging around. I'm not nosy, but things will pop into my brain that is just like, have you considered this? What does this mean to you? How can this, help? Something you might want to think about. And then sometimes during the session, I'll offer essential oils. So I'll ask you, is it okay if I put a drop of frankincense, on the top of your head? And frankincense is used usually in most sessions just because it's a very good smelling oil. It's also very grounding. It helps us to relax and center and be in the moment. Some clients go to sleep, and if you snore, I promise it never gets out. Confidentiality, remember? And then some are awake and aware, and sometimes they talk to me, they ask me questions about what's going on, and I encourage that because that doesn't disrupt me. I can do it while you're talking, but I do ask them to think about, are you doing this to distract yourself? Because your job is to lay there and relax and get the full benefit. And if your mind is chattering at you and you're asking me questions to distract yourself from actually relaxing, then maybe don't ask me questions.
Yeah.
That takes an hour. And then I help you sit up. I give you some water. We talk about what you went through. And then I help you down off the table and then let you leave in your own time. I don't push anybody out the door because sometimes Reiki is very powerful and it can cause us to have to sit a minute and think about what we just went through. So obviously I'm going to give you time to sit there and relax until you're ready to go.
Yeah, that's good. And it seems like there's kind of a duality to it. You get the relaxation side of it, but then also the benefits of the Reiki session, what you're doing, the practice of it, the whole physical side of it, just, the healing side of wellness. So, yeah.
And there's something to be said too, just for being touched.
Yes.
We're human beings who need connection.
Yes.
And just sometimes simply touching someone, even just holding their hand, is such a benefit. For them.
I wholeheartedly agree with that. I'm very much an advocate of hugs. And it is proven time and time again that hugs are so therapeutic in our own way. Our bodies connect in a way, our brains connect. It helps to rewire those neurons, bring up serotonin levels. So I can only imagine what it's like for a full Reiki session where you're touching, parts of a person's body where, maybe they're storing some of that tension or anxiety or the stress of just everyday life, but especially if there's adverse events coming about, in their life. And
and if you've never had a Reiki session, you need to know too that sometimes you cry. Not always.
Yes.
But crying is a way of the body releasing something and letting it go. So if you feel the tears start, don't stop them. I've got tissues and I'm not going to remark on it. I know what you're going through. I've been there. I have one client who laughs. Actually, it's my son, and I was giving him a Reiki session, and he's like, "Mom, I just want to start laughing." I said, "Okay, that's a way for the body to release, so go for it." And he laughed probably a good 10 minutes, and it was what he needed. So okay.
Yeah, that good release of endorphins too. Yeah, absolutely. And, actually you mentioned that, that crying is a good release. It's a way for the body to process what you're experiencing and then to release it, and how you've been there too. And so I would love to hear how you got started in all of this, in aromatherapy and forest Reiki. What helped you navigate this
Well,
journey?
it's a funny answer. You know, my sister told me to. She's 2 years older than me. I'm a very obedient younger sister. She called me up one day and she said, okay, you need to look into essential oils. Now, she had a specific company that I looked into and I actually did start with. Since then, I have left that company and gone out on my own. But she opened my eyes to them. Now, I grew up in a household where you didn't go to the doctor unless you had an obvious broken bone or were bleeding out somewhere.
Right.
You know, we took care of ourselves. Vitamins and herbs was my mother's mantra. So it wasn't too hard of a stretch for me to fall in love with essential oils. And then my husband has a lot of health issues, and I really wanted to help him. And one of his doctors in Texas at the time, he asked him, and the doctor said, I don't know anything about them, but I hear they're great, so just let her go. Well, letting me go may not have been exactly the best thing. You may not know this. Essential oils are very helpful, but there are a few that you need to be aware of and not use with, say, different prescriptions. And my husband has a lot of prescriptions. So I quickly figured out I wanted to be very careful in what I did and not disrupt his medications and not accidentally give him something that wouldn't be to his highest benefit.
Right.
So then I decided to go to school, and I went through the School of Aromatic Studies, and I loved it. I did not get my certification right away. I had some life-altering events happen, which kind of made me put that on the back burner, but I still had access to the classes. So anytime anybody asked me a question, I knew where to go to look to find the information. So I was actually practicing it, but I was just giving them the information and letting them use it, not necessarily creating it for myself.
Right.
When I decided to open my office and get it set up for myself, that's when I did the case studies, did the big test, math, put it all together. And the Forest Reiki actually came about the same way. So my sister, Michelle, has been a Reiki master at this point, I think, for about 30 years.
Wow.
But she was the one who actually developed the Forest Reiki variant.
Oh, wow.
She was living in Colorado. She would go out in the trees for her stress relief. And it was just a natural progression to start bringing them into her Reiki sessions. And then about 4 or 5 years ago, she started teaching it. And so she called me up and she said, hey, I want you to do this. You're my sister. And I love you, so I want to give you this, but also you're my sister. You're going to be blunt. And you're going to tell me the truth. And I said, sure, why not? I wasn't sure that I could as a Christian, but then I did a lot of research and I have my own ideas. And if somebody's interested, they can ask. But yes, as a Christian, I felt that I could. So then I did it for myself. And then I kept feeling led to offer it out. And so then I was like, okay. So I went through all the certifications. I got my mastery to offer it out to clients.
Yeah. So your journey through this has been from personal experience with your spouse, with your husband, trying to help him and learning proper techniques and proper education behind it. And now offering it to people because of the benefits and because of how incredible it is.
Right. And I want to make clear that you don't have to become a certified aromatherapist to use essential oils.
Right.
They're actually very easy to use. But I wanted to be able to create products for someone. I wanted someone who wanted the benefits of essential oils, but didn't want to have to put it together themselves. They didn't want to have to dig into the research, and they didn't want to have to buy all the stuff to do it.
Right.
They want to come to me and have me create it for them. And so that's part of my certification also.
Yeah. And, and that seems pretty basic or implied basic, that they can just reach out to you and you can use your knowledge and your resources to provide that for them. Is it a situation where someone comes to you once, or do they come to you multiple times, or how does that work with
I've had both.
clients?
I've had both. I have some who call me up and ask me a question, and I can just give them the information, and then they do go create their own product. They take it from there.
Mhm.
I have some who call me up and they say, hey, I have this problem. And then I actually say, well, I've got this product already made. Let's go that route.
Mhm.
Or they call me up and say, okay, now we've worked on this. Now I'd like to work on this. So
Mhm.
then we launch in a different direction.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think it's good to acknowledge that essential oils in and of themselves are plant medicine, I guess you could say. And I use them myself.
Yeah.
I'm not a certified aromatherapist. I personally had a medical journey that I experienced many years ago and used essential oils more of just getting me through the process
Yeah.
of everything that I was experiencing. And
Yeah.
so turning to nature was one of those opportunities, getting outside more, really grounding myself, but then also using essential oils for those times that I couldn't be outside.
Yeah.
And so utilizing that in a way that's all encompassing. And so one of the things that you mentioned was that you have different forms of using the essential oils. Do you want to talk about that? So like whether it's a salve or
that just depends on how people want to use it. Most people, they have what's called a roller ball, and I didn't bring one out, but it's the diluted essential oils in a roller, and they just roll it on. That's good if you want to smell it. But some people don't want to smell like the essential oils. They don't want someone coming up to them saying, oh, I smell this. So they want an inhaler so that they can hold it up to their nose and smell it and bring it into the body and get the benefit but not have to wear it.
Right.
Those are the two most used forms.
Okay.
A salve is like I have one for muscles that are very unhappy.
Yeah.
So then you're going to get the action of applying it.
Topically.
Yeah, but then you're going to rub it in.
Oh, yes.
So you're getting a little bit of both worlds, right?
Yeah.
And getting a roller on it is nice, but then you're still going to want to roll that in. So why not just put it in a salve where you're going to roll it on first?
Yeah.
So I did have somebody ask me to put it in a tube. So we're going to figure that one out.
Okay.
So then they don't have to like put it on and then roll it. They can just crank it up there.
Yeah, that makes sense. Easy application.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know that, there are different dilutions, different standard. There's all kinds of things that go into essential oils, and I don't know enough about it to really be to speak to it, I guess you could say. But I think that it's important that we acknowledge how powerful they can be.
Yes.
Even in their purest form.
Yes.
Is there anything that you want to talk to or speak to about maybe using the essential oils with your forest Reiki, or is there any, like, I don't know, maybe a couple of blends or single oils that are like more common or more useful than other? I guess they're all useful, huh? Yeah,
they are.
Yeah,
It depends on what you're going for.
Yeah.
So if you're going for this, then I'm going to suggest these oils. If you're going for this, then I have these other oils.
Yeah.
So I do offer my Forest Reiki clients an inhaler after their sessions.
Okay.
It has 7 different oils in it.
Okay.
And if you're familiar with the chakra system, we have 7 major chakras.
Yes, we do.
So I have one oil for every one, and that I call it balance, and it just helps you continue how you feel when you leave a session.
Oh, okay.
So I tell people when you leave a session, if you start to feel stressed or anxious or not feeling very good, use that. I ask them to use it maybe every night before they go to bed, maybe every morning when they wake up.
Yeah.
And then when they come back for another session, if they'll bring it and I need to refill it, I can just put more oils in it. But it's just another way of taking the session out into the world, using it after the session.
Yeah, because those sessions, I'm sure they're very beneficial in that moment, but also taking, those same benefits and navigating daily life,
Right.
those
Let's
oils.
extend that
Yeah,
benefit.
yeah, those oils really supplement,
Yes.
even in the in between, or just kind of keeping you going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's good. And I was going to ask, so when you started down this path of working with essential oils, and you mentioned that you had been with a previous company and now you kind of create your own, what does it, or I guess, what is your standard for essential oils? So whenever you go to create maybe a blend or like a roller bottle,
Mm-hmm.
how do you pull in your different blends? How do you integrate that into like a roller bottle? Are there certain, I don't know where I'm going with this, maybe
I'm not
like
sure either.
maybe if you are thinking about a certain oil, maybe one particular oil that helps with this, and then there's another oil that you want to incorporate with it. Do you use like, and I guess maybe where I'm going with it is like frequencies. I've heard about frequencies and how those can be, standard for creating a roller bottle.
Yes.
Or
And that is one way.
Okay.
That isn't actually the way that I use.
okay,
So I choose the predominant oil,
okay,
which is the one that has the most benefits
Okay.
of what we're going for.
okay,
Then I'll choose one or two supporting oils.
okay.
Like these also work.
Mhm.
And so we're going to add them to the blend,
Okay.
or they produce a different effect. So
Mhm.
for say the muscle rub, since I've already mentioned it,
Mhm.
I have one that deals with the pain,
Oh yeah.
but then I also have one for inflammation.
Hmm.
I have one for bringing warmth to the area,
Mhm.
and I have another one that brings in what allows the body to relax.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So then I bring in harmonizing oils,
Mhm.
which sometimes all they're doing is making the blend smell good.
Mhm.
I mean, they've got benefits. They're good for it, but
Right.
I want it to smell good, because if it doesn't smell good, you're not going to want to use it.
Right.
You're not going to want to use it. You're not going
Yes.
to use it. You're not going to get benefit.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
no, that's how I look at it.
Okay.
I blend by what it's for,
Okay.
the purpose of it.
Okay.
I understand the frequencies and
Mhm.
I do like them,
Mhm.
but they're a secondary,
Okay.
they're not my predominant reason for
Your
choosing that
factors.
oil. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. I apologize. I was
It's okay.
thinking frequencies, and I was trying to discern how to ask the question.
Yeah.
But it makes sense that you're really thinking about specific benefits of a particular oil,
Right.
and then maybe complementary and supplemental in that, which is really important if you're trying to maybe get to the root of an issue.
Yes.
And you mentioned earlier, maybe between medication,
Yes.
just kind of boosting our
Yeah.
body as much naturally as possible.
Yeah.
In those in between times.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's good. So let's see. I don't know. Is there anything else that you would like to share? I think you've answered most of my questions, even the one that I messed up.
Yeah, no, that's okay. That's okay. So yes, I'd like people to understand that quality counts.
Oh, yes.
You can buy a pair of Nike shoes and a pair of Nike knockoffs.
Oh, yeah.
You're not going to get the same wear. They're not going to last as long. They're not going to feel the same. They're not going to give your feet the same, oh my goodness, I'm wearing Nike feeling, right? So you want to make sure you don't have to necessarily buy the most expensive oils.
Oh, yeah.
But please don't buy the El Cheapos at the big box stores. Let's get some quality going. And if you are curious or need help with choosing quality, I'm happy to talk to you, because there are several brands out there. I want people to understand too that just because everybody and the Google says, if you have this problem, use this oil, that may not work for you. We're all so much alike and yet all so different.
Yes.
I can't use lavender close to bedtime. Instead of relaxing me, it actually wires my brain.
Oh,
And I
wow.
will lay there with my brain chattering at me like little squirrels for hours, and I'll be restless. So you may be someone the same way.
Yeah.
Your body may be looking for something different. What is causing your issue may be a different trigger than what's causing all those other people. So just because you have used oils and it didn't work for you, that doesn't mean that oils are snake oil and not good. It just means you're probably needing something different, or you need a better quality.
Yeah.
And it's also best to understand that essential oils don't force your body to do anything. So when we take a prescription, it forces our body to do or not do something. And that's not a bad thing. That's actually a good thing. That's what they're designed for. My husband has a blood clotting disorder, and I want his pills to force his body to not grow clots. That's good. But essential oils and Reiki, they don't force, they assist. They come alongside and they kind of say, hey, you're struggling with this. Let me help. Let me help you. But then because they assist, sometimes it can take longer than people are expecting. So there's certain situations where you can apply an oil, or I can give you a Reiki session and you're good. You're good to go. It fixed it, whatever. But then there's other times that you just need to understand it could take several sessions. It can take a few weeks. It can take a few months for your body to take it all in and work through it and get you to the health that you're looking for.
Yeah, that is really important. And I'm glad that you mentioned that, because even as someone that uses essential oils on a regular basis, I have to be conscientious of what I'm putting on my body, what I'm using, how it's affecting me, how it's benefiting me, and what it's doing in my body. And it goes alongside that, that wellness and that well-being that we were talking about earlier, just living optimally, but it's assisting us, it's helping us. It's not forcing us to change, or our body may react to it, which is very possible.
And a lot of people do that when they flood themselves with good stuff. The body says, yay, I can purge out all this garbage because you're bringing me all the good stuff. But it may actually overwhelm your body. It may actually cause you to have a setback, or make you think, I'm allergic, or these are bad, whatever. So slow, introduce yourself to essential oils slowly, and start with the low dilutions. You mentioned that sometimes there are situations where you need the high dilution, but let's start low and see how your body reacts and go from there.
And that's important too. It's anything that we put into our body or that we use, we should be aware of how it's going to affect us, but also being cautious, and being practical. We can't assume that something is going to fix us overnight. So
and you may need a different route. So I firmly believe that the body, if given the proper tools, will do a lot of healing on its own. When we go to sleep, that's when the body is repairing itself. So we want to look for assistance, but sometimes even the essential oils aren't necessarily what you need. If you come to me for issue, say with your neck hurting, I'm actually going to ask you if you've seen a chiropractor or a doctor, because if it's a structural issue, I can throw oils at you all day long. They're going to help some, but you still need to fix that structural issue. So the essential oils and Reiki are excellent tools, but
they're just tools. Yes, that's a good point. Okay. Was there anything else that you wanted to share?
Nope, that's about it.
Okay. I did want to ask you, what's your favorite essential oil?
It is grapefruit, and I actually brought it to smell. Now it says rose on it, but that's actually because it's pressed from pink grapefruit.
Oh my goodness.
Isn't that just lovely?
It is so good.
That is my favorite. All the citrus ones help bring our mood up. And in the wintertime, I really struggle with my mood being way too low. So I was looking for a citrus oil to help. And when I opened up grapefruit for the first time, I was like, oh yeah, baby, that's it. That is it.
Mood lifting and
Yes.
just bright.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. And
Yeah.
it's also excellent when you come home from work and you've been sitting at a desk all day and your legs and feet are a little tight.
Mhm.
Put it in some unscented lotion or body butter and
Mhm.
smooth it on your legs. It
Oh,
will
wow.
help that tightness release.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good, like, circulation and that inflammation too, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, it's really good for a lot of things, but those are the two reasons I love it.
Yeah.
But that, and just because it smells.
It
So
smells
good.
really good. I mean, it's like you're smelling an actual grapefruit, but a little more concentrated. So it's very bright and kind of florally, but very citrusy. Like you can definitely pick up those notes of real grapefruit, which is good. And rose is something that a lot of people are kind of put off by because it is so florally and it can be so I don't know. I mean,
It can be overpowering.
Yeah.
It's very intense.
It is. Yeah. And so I have a bottle of rose at home. I'm not allowed to use it.
That's just when you open and smell.
Yes. Yeah. And it really is more of I use it in roller bottles, but to dilute it.
Yes.
Because it is so powerful.
Yeah.
All on its own, but also because it's very strong. It has a very distinct smell to it. So yeah. So thank you for bringing that.
You're
and
welcome.
Sharing that. I love that you actually brought it. And I kept thinking, if you think about the way that we interact with essential oils, you and I interact with essential oils. My favorite is personally a blend that has, let's see, what does it have in it? It has cypress and I think it has lemon in it or maybe orange, one of the citrus. And then also like eucalyptus. And so it's strange when you're thinking about the concept of it. But when I open that bottle, that blend, it is instant grounding for me. It is just, and I know it's because of the cypress, the tree, the woodsy smell.
Yes.
And that eucalyptus is often, it's like a relaxing, calming and soothing, but it's also really good for soothing the muscles.
Yes,
and
it's
I
really
use that.
good for that.
And so it's like my brain has now just, instantly gets excited when I open that bottle. Excited, but also grounded, interestingly enough.
Balance.
Yes. Yeah. So, so after a long day or, if I'm just really struggling with being unbalanced, I can open that bottle and it's just quiet zen.
That'd be a good name for a blend.
Yes, zen.
Quiet zen.
Quiet zen. Quiet zen.
I'll let you know if I take that.
Okay. Maybe I'll make my own. Oh, and then another one, blue tansy. That one is so interesting.
Yes.
I have so many blends at home with blue tansy and citrus together, and that one is very grounding.
Yes,
like
it's very good for you. It's also very good for your skin.
Is it?
It is. You can put it
did
in
not
a
know that.
little oil for your face.
Yeah.
It's very good for your skin.
Oh, well, now I've got to do some research.
just a drop.
Oh,
because it is blue.
It is blue. It is so blue.
Don't want to blue your face.
Your shirt is gonna be my face. I'm gonna be blue.
The big smirk. So don't put it on straight.
I'm sure my kids would love that. But it's interesting because there are so many different kinds of essential oils that they all have their purpose and their benefit, but then putting them together, it just is like, it's so powerful, it's so useful and helpful. And I just think to myself, how incredible is it that we have nature in a bottle, things that support us and help us through our daily routines that we don't get unless we either use that, to supplement, or we're getting outside and doing it ourselves, again, that part of being in nature.
Yes.
And that someone came about and said, I think I'm going to put this in a bottle.
I know. I'm glad.
Yes, I'm very grateful for that. Especially, and like you said, in the wintertime when you need that boost. I also suffer with that seasonal affective disorder, and so sad.
Yeah. And it's cold, and I don't like to be cold.
Yeah, I don't either.
Now I'll get out when the sun's shining.
Yeah.
And stand in the sunshine, and that helps.
Yes.
But I don't want to take off my shoes and stand on the snow.
Yes.
I take off my shoes and stand on the grass.
I'm definitely a summer baby. I much prefer to be in the sunshine and the heat over winter anytime. But, to bring it back to that grapefruit, having that resource in a bottle, but then also, you offer this for people that are struggling, for them to connect with you and just, try it out, have an opportunity to see if it'll be helpful for them.
Yes.
In several different ways, which is really good. So, yeah. Okay. Well, if there is anything else that you want to share,
nope, I think we're good.
Okay. Well, I definitely want to share how people can connect with you.
Okay.
If they have questions or if they want to set up a session, I think that's going to be so beneficial, for them to just reach out and see what it is that you have that could help them.
Sure.
So, yeah.
So they can email me, Catherine, CATHERINE at wildwoodaromas.com. I do have a wildwoodaromas.com website. My products are not on that. We're still working on it. So, okay. Wildwood Aromas on Facebook or Instagram. So you can message me and I'll get back with you and answer questions and help.
Okay. Very good. Well, thank you so much for this opportunity to talk with you and get to know you a little bit more and your products and services. And I really look forward to seeing, how you help other people, if they reach out to you. I would love to hear more about that.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Sure. But thank you very much for inviting me to be here. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
I really enjoyed this.
Good.
And I'm an introvert. And so I was really nervous about this, but you